Hello guys, yesterday we were writing this. Okay, anyway we have written up to output voltage. So this is the waveform you will get for output voltage for one complete cycle. See, this is one complete cycle. 3 is the incoming valve, here also 3 is the incoming valve. So for one complete cycle your output voltage will be like this. Then we need to write the valve 3 voltage. So I'll use another color for that so you can understand better. When valve number 1 and 2, this is the pattern. Okay, when valve number 1 and 2 are conducting, the valve 3 voltage is EBA. So EBA, where is EBA? See, here we have EBA. So this is the EBA. You will get the valve 3 voltage like this. Right? Then when 3 comes into conduction, valve 3 voltage is 0. So yeah. Then when valve number 3 comes into conduction till it goes out of the conduction. So this is the point where valve number 3 goes out of conduction, right? So 3, this is the point at 3 goes out of conduction. Till that the valve voltage across valve number 3 is 0. So we can take, so here it is EBA, then it will drop down to 0 and it will continue to be 0 till valve 3 goes out of conduction. Then valve number 4 and 5 conducting. When valve number 4 and 5 is conducting, the valve 3 voltage is EBC. So where is EBC? So here we have EBC. It will drop to EBC at this point. It will continue to be in EBC till valve number 4-5 conducts. Later, yes, it is still EBC when 5-6 is conducting. It will continue with the same. It will follow EBC. Then, when 6 and 1 is conducting, the voltage is EBA. So, where is EBA? So, here is EBA. It will drop to EBA. It will drop to EBA and it will continue with the EBA till next. Then again when 1 and 2 is conducting, the voltage is EBA. It will continue to be EBA. Yes, this is the where valve 3 comes into conduction. So it will become C2. So this is valve 3 voltage. Okay. This is how you need to write the waveform for U equal to 60 degree. So we need to derive the output voltage equation for this. For that we need to consider, let me take valve 3 itself. So here I have triggered, means this is alpha. From where to where it will conduct? It will conduct from this point to this point. So this is alpha, and what is this angle? This is totally, it is 60 degree, right? 60 plus alpha means the combination of valves will conduct for 60 plus alpha, from alpha to 60 plus alpha. What is the output voltage? EBC. Let us derive it now. So our output voltage, I will consider it as VD. So what is the VD? VD we are considering for how much degrees? 60 degrees. We are considering this for 60 degrees. So 1 by pi by 3 for the duration of 60 degree. Integration. We are doing integration from alpha to 60 plus alpha is nothing but pi by 3 plus alpha. You can also write it as pi by 3 plus alpha. Which voltage we are getting? We are getting EBC. EBC with respect to omega t. We need to integrate it with respect to omega t. So now this will become 3 by pi times of EBC. We have to write EBC. So we have written the phase relationship between phase voltage and line voltage. Hope you can cross verify your notes. We have this list. We have derived it from the triangle. So here we have EBC. What is the EBC? Root 3 Em sin omega t plus pi by 3 by taking EBA as a reference. Okay. So by taking EBA as a reference, we have this as EBC. Let us substitute that. EBC is given by root 3 EM sine omega t plus pi by 3 with respect to d omega t. Okay. So this is the thing. Now I will continue with this. I take root 3 outside. 3 root 3 by pi. EM is also constant. I take EM outside. Integration of alpha to pi by 3 plus alpha sine omega t plus pi by 3 into d omega t. We need to integrate this. Now continue with the integration. 3 root 3 by pi EM. Integration of sine cos minus cos omega t plus pi alpha to pi by 3 plus alpha. Substitute the limits. 3 root 3 by pi EM minus cos omega t. We need to substitute for omega t. So omega t pi by 3 plus alpha. Pi by 3 plus pi by 3. 2 pi by 3 plus alpha. Minus into minus plus cos alpha plus pi by 3. Close the bracket. Yes. 3 root 3 by pi EM. Now see, this is like cos A minus cos B. This is cos A minus cos B. What is the formula for cos A minus cos B? That you have to look at. It is minus 2 sine A plus B by 2 into sine A minus B by 2. Okay. So cos A minus cos B formula is minus 2 sine A plus B by 2 into sine A minus B by 2. I'll just apply this. EM minus 2 sine A plus B pi by 3 plus 2 pi by 3. That is nothing but 3 pi by 3. Pi by 3 plus 2 pi by 3. 3 pi by 3 plus alpha 2 alpha whole divided by 2. A plus B by 2 into sine A minus B pi by 3 minus 2 pi by 3 minus pi by 3 minus pi by 3 alpha minus alpha 0 divided by 2. 3 root 3 by pi EM. See, sine of minus theta will become minus sine theta. Minus into minus will become plus. 2 sine, but 3 and 3 gets cancelled. So this will become pi by 2 plus alpha. 2 alpha by 2. It will 2 and 2 gets cancelled into sine pi by 6. So 3 root 3 by pi EM to sine pi by 2 plus alpha. We can write it as cos alpha. What is sine pi by 6? Sine pi by 6 is 1 by 2. So 2 and 2 gets cancelled. It will become 3 root 3 by pi EM into cos alpha. This is what our output voltage equation. So now I'll call this equation as VD is equal to VDO cos alpha. So what is this VDO? VDO is given by 3 root 3 by pi EM. So why I am writing this as VDO, I'll tell you later. Okay. So we need to express this equation in this form. So this is the output voltage equation. Then here VD is the output voltage of rectifier, right? We are studying about Grace bridge. So this is the output of Grace bridge, that is VDO cos alpha. VDO is a constant. You can see here 3 root 3 by pi is a constant, and for any sine wave EM is constant. So this VDO is constant. Only the variable thing is cos alpha. How it will vary? We can vary the value of alpha. Alpha is the firing angle. So we can fire the valve at any point. See, I have taken the firing value here. So when can we fire valve number 3? Oh, so cute. Yeah. So here is valve number 3. Let us consider that we have a thyristor. How to make this thyristor to get fired? The first thing is the voltage across the thyristor should be positive. We have to make the thyristor forward biased. Then we can give firing angle. If the thyristor is reverse biased, even if we give firing angle, it will not get triggered. So that is the thing. So if we consider the valve, okay. See, if we consider this valves, see here, we have valve number 3. When valve number 1 is conducting, after valve number 1, valve number 3 comes into conduction. So when valve number 1 is conducting, the voltage across valve number 3 should be positive before it get triggered. You can see in the waveform, see here, yeah, I'll show here. So this is valve 3 voltage, right? The red color what I have written is valve 3 voltage. To get valve 3 voltage, to get valve 3 to get triggered, the voltage across valve 3 should be positive. So up to this point, the voltage across valve 3 is negative. So here at this point, it will go to positive. Why? Because see, when 1 and 2 is conducting, during the period, the valve voltage across valve number 3 is getting positive. So this is the positive voltage. When EBA is positive, then only we can trigger valve number 3. That is what happening. Here it has become positive. So from here to here, I can trigger at any point my valve number 3. Right? So I have triggered here. So I can vary this value. This is alpha. I can vary this value. But if you look at the equation, if I increase the alpha, what happens? Let me assume that the alpha value is 0. When alpha value is 0, the value of VD is 3 root 3 by pi times of EM. That is nothing but VDO. As you go on increasing the value of alpha, the total value, the net cos alpha becomes decreases, because cos 90 is 0, cos 0 is 1. So when you go on increasing the value of alpha, the output voltage VD decreases. So we should have some margin for alpha. We should not cross that limit. Usually we are going to keep 5 to 15 degrees. We should not exceed more than 15 degrees. So if we exceed more than 15 degrees, output voltage gets reduces. So you can ask a question like even at any value of alpha, the value of output voltage is not equal to the full value, right? So it will get reduced. Only if alpha is equal to 0, we will get maximum value. Then we can fire the valve even at 0 only. No problem. But in case of HVDC circuit, the power equation is given by VD into ID. In any HVDC line, we are not controlling ID. ID is constant. How can we control VD? How can we control the power? Only way is by controlling VD. VD is the variable to vary the power. So how to vary VD? This thing is constant. So we have only one value alpha. For this reason, we have to vary the alpha. We cannot trigger it at exactly 0 degree. So this is the thing. We'll see the current. So now we'll look for the current. Yeah. Can you see the circuit? Yeah. See, this is AC side. This is DC side. Now I'll choose any one phase and I'll write the current for that with respect to ID. So I'll choose IB, phase B current. Now let us assume how the current changes. Okay, phase B current. So if you look at the circuit, see here, this is phase B current IB, and I'll divide it for 6 equal parts because of 60 degree. Totally it is 360 degree. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So here, since we have taken valve number 3 for conduction at the beginning, I'll take the same thing. At this point, valve number 3 comes into the conduction. So 2, 3 conduction. This is 2, 3 conduction. Here it is 3, 4 conduction, 4, 5 conduction, 5, 6 conduction, 6, 1, 1, 2, again back to 3. The same thing. Totally it is 360 degree. One full cycle I have taken. So now you can see when valve number 2 and 3 is conducting. 2 is here, 3 is here. How the current flows? So it goes in this path and it will come back and it will go in this path. So what is the direction of IB? IB is in same direction of ID. Means IB is also positive, ID is also positive. So I'll take this magnitude as ID. So ID is positive in the same direction of IB. When 3 and 4 conducting, 3, 4. So the current flows like this and it will come back, it will go like this. So here also the direction of IB and ID is same. So I can write ID is positive in the same direction of IB. Then when 4 and 5 is conducting, 4 is here, 5 is here. Valve number 3 is not conducting. Valve number 3 goes out of conduction. So this is an open circuit at that time. When it is open circuit, what is the value of IB? IB is 0. Suddenly it will drop to 0. Then when 5, 6 conducting, valve number 5 and valve number 6 is conducting. So the current flows like this and it will come back, it will go. So now see, the direction of ID is opposite to IB. So the ID current IB is opposite to ID. I'll take it as minus ID. So this is plus ID, this is minus ID. When 6 and 1 is conducting, 6 is here, 1 is here, the current path is this one. Again ID is negative, opposite to IB. Yeah. When 1 and 2 is conducting, the current direction is this one. 3 is not conducting, 6 is not conducting. IB is totally open circuit. So the current becomes 0. We have written the phase current for AC source. So this is source current IB. So this is DC side, this is AC side. IB current should be IB current should be sinusoidal because this is supply side, right? But here we are not getting a pure sine wave. We are getting something else, but we can make this as a sinusoidal with certain harmonics. Just see here. Can I write like this? Yeah. So this is orderly a sine wave with some harmonics and fundamental component. So with this, first let us find out the fundamental component and then we'll find out the RMS value. To find fundamental component, maximum value of fundamental component, see here, this wave is half wave symmetry. If I cut here, it will become quarter wave symmetry. So it is not starting from 0. So I'll take this as a reference and this totally it is 360 degree. 60 plus 60, this conduction is 120 degree. So it is 2 pi by 3 from here to here. So it is 2 pi by 3. I'll take this as an origin and here it is 60 degree, here it is 60 degree. I can integrate between minus pi by 3. This side, this is minus pi by 3 because I have taken this as a reference and this is plus pi by 3. What I am integrating? ID. See, I have taken this as a reference and at the reference the wave is reaching the maximum value. Which type of wave is this? It's a cosine wave. Cos theta, I'll take this as theta with respect to d theta. So why I have taken theta? You can take omega t also, no issues. If you have taken omega t here, integrate with respect to omega t. And here since I have taken exactly at the half, this sine wave is of totally 180 degree. I am integrating only for half. So pi by 2. Okay, 1 by pi by 2 for that area, for that particular area I have taken. So 2 by pi 1 over id is constant, I'll take it outside. Integration of cos theta, it is sin theta minus pi by 3 to plus pi by 3. 2 id by pi, apply the limits, sin pi by 3, minus into minus will become plus because sin of minus pi by 3 will become minus sin pi by 3, sin pi by 3. So 2 id by pi 2 times of sin pi by 3. What is the value of sin pi by 3? Root 3 by 2. 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So we have root 3, 2 root 3 id by pi. Right? Now we got for maximum value. Find out the RMS value. I'm doing this for fundamental component, for this component, not for sinusoidal wave. Okay, for fundamental component. So I have a maximum value. How to get RMS value from the maximum value? What is the relationship? RMS value is equal to maximum value divided by root 2. Okay. So now what is the value of Im? 2 root 3 id by pi divided by root 2. So I can write this 2 as root 2 into root 2, root 3 id divided by root 2 pi. Root 2 gets cancelled. Root 2 into root 3 will become root 6 id by pi. So this is the value of fundamental component. We'll keep this as it is and we'll look for the RMS value of sinusoidal wave. Because we have assumed it as sinusoidal, but it is not actually sinusoidal. If it is sinusoidal, what is the value? That we'll see. Okay, RMS value, IRMS. How to find out the RMS value? And this we need to find out for one complete cycle, one full cycle. So RMS value is given. RMS is nothing but root mean square. So root of id square. We are integrating id, root, under root. Mean we have to take. Mean means one complete cycle. We have to integrate it for one complete cycle. Integration 0 to 2 pi square with respect to d theta. Because here I have taken theta. So I am using theta here. So this is the thing. But this is not a pure sine wave. It is orderly sinusoidal wave. We cannot take for one complete cycle. So we have to split that. 1 by 2 pi. Just split this. See, from 0 to 2 pi by 3. Here from 0 to 2 by 3 we have a waveform. Waveform is not 0. So from 0 to 2 pi by 3 we have a waveform, that is id. But here we need to take it as id square plus, see, from here to here. So this is 2 pi by 3. 2 pi by 3 to next 60 degree. That is 120 plus 60 degree, 180 degree. So 2 pi by 3 to pi, the value is 0 because we don't have any waveform here. Plus one more waveform, that is beginning from 5. 60 plus 60. So 180, 4 pi by 3, 5 pi by 3. Up to 5 pi by 3. 5 pi by 3. We have a value that is minus id. But here we are taking square of that value. Minus id will become plus, minus id square will become plus id. And we are integrating with respect to d theta. The whole thing. Integrate this 1 by 2 pi. So total under root. So for under root I will write half. Okay, power of half. 1 by 2 pi. So id I will take outside. Id square I will take outside completely. So here integration of 1 with respect to d theta will become theta itself. So apply the limits directly. 2 pi by 3 is the upper limit, lower limit will become 0, plus no integration here because we have 0. Here the same thing. So we have 5 pi by 3 minus pi. So 5 pi by 3 is nothing but 300. 300 minus 180, it is 120. So 2 pi by 3. Okay. Under root. Power of half. So can I write this like 2id square by 2 pi. 2 pi by 3 plus 2 pi by 3. 2 times of 2 pi by 3. That too I have written here. So this is 2 pi by 3. 2 pi gets cancelled. So 2id square by 3. This is the value of IRMS. I'll write the same thing. So what we are getting? IRMS is equal to 2 by 3 times of id square under root. Sorry, I have missed under root here. Under root. So if we remove the root, it will become root of 2 by 3 id. Square and root gets cancelled. So this is the value of IRMS. Now you can see IRMS value is root 2 by 3 times of id. I1 value is for DC circuit, that is given by root 6 times of, that's what we have derived here, root 6 times of id by pi. id by pi. If you compare these two equations, this is root 6 by pi, the constant value is root 6 by pi, and this is root 2 by 3. If you compare this, we can come to a conclusion IRMS is greater than I1. Means the AC consists of, AC value is greater than DC value, means AC consists of certain harmonics, and that harmonics I1 can be written as IH, harmonic current is written as I1 by H, where H is the harmonic component. For DC circuit it is given by NP, for AC circuit it is given by NP plus or minus 1. So this is how we can analyze the current waveform. I told you that in VD output voltage, our output voltage VD is given by VDO cos alpha, right? So cos alpha is an important thing. If the alpha value increases, VD also increases. Not only that, this alpha has direct effect on power factor of the circuit. So we can maintain power factor 1. If it is less than 1, obviously the circuit will become frozen. So let us see now how it will affect the power factor. Okay, so we'll derive for power factor. To derive it for power factor, we need to equate AC power with respect to DC power. So what is AC power given by? This is 3-phase circuit, very basics. The AC power is given by, I am talking about with respect to line voltage and line current, root 3 ELL, line voltage, line to line voltage, IL cos phi. This is AC voltage. DC voltage is given by VD into ID. So now we need to equate these two. But what is this line current? Right now, this line current is nothing but the current, actual current, what is flowing in that particular line. If we consider phase B is the line current. Okay, actually it is phase current. We'll assume it as star connection because I have grounded it. In case of star connection, line current is equal to phase current. So no problem with that. I'll assume IB as a line current. So I have derived for DC circuit, actual IB is I1 is equal to RMS value is I1 is equal to root 6 ID divided by pi. So I can replace this IL with I1. This is the actual formula for PAC. PDC is given by VD into ID. Let us substitute for VD. we got VDO cos alpha. What is VDO? VDO is 3 root 3 Vem by pi. So this is the value of cos alpha into ID. So this is the value of VD for this particular circuit, I mean 2 valve conduction. See, here we have ELL, here we have EM. So we cannot equate these two because this is in terms of line voltage, this is the maximum value. We need to convert this one to this one. For that, what we need to do is, we have a relationship between maximum value and phase value. Phase value is nothing but RMS value. Okay, RMS value of that particular phase. So what is the relation? ERMS is equal to EM by root 2. So I can write EM is equal to root 2 times of ERMS. That is the phase voltage, that particular IB, that particular phase. And what is the relationship between phase voltage and line voltage in case of star connection? That also we know. E phase is equal to ELL by root 3. I will substitute this E phase in this equation with ELL by root 3. So EM is equal to root 2 ELL by root 3. So this has been substituted here. That's it. So I can replace this EM with this equation. So PDC is equal to 3 root 3 by pi. What we have? Root 2 ELL by root 3 cos alpha into ID. Root 3 gets cancelled. So we left with 3 root 2 ELL by pi cos alpha into ID. Now we can equate these two, no problem. So PAC is equal to PDC. What is the value of PAC? Root 3 ELL. I1 we have derived in terms of ID, that is root 6 ID by pi into cos phi is equal to PDC. PDC is 3 root 2 ELL by pi cos alpha into ID. See here, ID cancel, pi cancel, ELL cancel. So here we have root 3 root 6. Root 3 into root 6 is root 9. Here we have 3 root 2. 3 root 2 we can write it as root 9 because this is root 3 into root 6, that is root of 6 3s are 18, root 18. So here we have, we can split this 3 as root 3 into root 3. So root 3 into root 3 is root 9, 9 2s are 18, root 18. So we can cancel this with respect to this. So what is the remaining thing? We have left out only with cos phi is equal to cos alpha, the entire equation. This says that if we increase the value of alpha, immediately the value of phi also increases. So if cos alpha increases, alpha increases, cos alpha decreases. If cos alpha decreases, cos phi also decreases. In turn, this cos phi is nothing but power factor. So the power factor of the circuit also decreases. So alpha is directly proportional to power factor of the circuit. How much less alpha we can maintain, that increases the power factor of the circuit. If we increase the value of alpha, the power factor decreases. So this is what the concept we need to study. So with this, I can show you a graph. So why we are using this power factor? This is very much important for reactive power consumption. Okay, if the power factor decreases, is nothing but the reactive power consumption of the circuit increases. So if I consider this as real axis, real power, this is reactive power. So this is the value of alpha or phi, in the other way phi. So as you increase the value of alpha, phi also increases, so that this is 0 means the complete real power consumption, no reactive power. As alpha increases, phi also increases, means there is a small consumption of reactive power. When alpha becomes 90 degree, there is no real power, so complete reactive power consumption. So when alpha is equal to 90 degree, what happens to the output voltage? Output voltage will become completely 0. We should not maintain that condition. We never make the value of alpha is equal to 90 degree. We have to operate the alpha either less than 90 degree or greater than 90 degree. Alpha should be, what I have written, either it should be, means for a rectifier operation, the value of alpha should be less than 90 degree. It should not be exactly equal to 90 degree. For inverter operation, alpha should be greater than 90 degree. It should not be equal to 90 degree. Okay, with this I'll wind up here. So in the next class I'll explain you how inverter works, okay, with the same circuit. Thank you.